somebody like Rain. Who is Rain? Rain is a 300-pound male, biological male. Do trans people bug me? No. Individually, there are many that do. The idea that all of us owe it to somebody who thinks God made a mistake. Let me tell you about Rain. Rain wants to use the girls' bathroom. Rain identifies as a woman. Rain is 350 pounds, or 300 pounds, sorry, has a penis, and raped his own sister. When his mom tried to talk to him about it, she had to kick her son out of the house. You can't have that predator in your house doing that to your daughter. So Rain's response, like 8 months after raping his sister, is, "That was forever ago. Not for your sister it ain't, you son of a bitch." Now, I got all these folks I know complaining that their insurance won't cover cancer, but it'll cover a sex change. So if your child gets cancer, they'll let your child die. But if you just don't feel right with the genitalia that you were born with, then we should what? Why do we have so many sickos asking for mutilation of the genitalia of children? It's bad enough that you mutilate boys' genitalia in this country without their permission for sexual gratification of women. You mutilate infant boys in this country. I'm not against same-gender bathrooms. I am 100% against Rain going into the girls' fucking locker room and perving on little girls. Those of you who say, "Oh, well, you know, when you're going through your teenage years, you should be allowed to be a little..." No, you shouldn't. We get told sex is bad, sex is bad, sex is bad. Meanwhile, all of our advertising is based on sex. And then you want to body shame. You want to body shame men. Just because they were born with a penis, it must be their fault. Are you fucking insane? Yes, you are. I'm out here in my car looking for a plug-in that I lost last night. Oh, good. Found my fingernail clippers. I could use them. People tend to procrastinate when it comes to a male being abused. You procrastinate and procrastinate and procrastinate. But you will literally destroy a man's life because a woman didn't get what she fucking wanted right when she fucking wanted it. How many times have I had to go through that with women? They want something right fucking now, and if they don't get it, they're gonna throw a fucking tantrum and destroy some lives. As a survivor of sexual assault and sexual abuse, I find it fucking disgusting that these groups like Me Too are man-bashing. 29 million males in the United States are victims of sexual assault before they turned 18. 29 million living victims in this country who are men. Not only are they told to go to the back of the bus, they're told it's their fault, that they are to blame because they have a mutilated penis. It's your fault because you were born with a penis. If a woman and her friends stalk you, it is your fault because you were born with a penis. Meanwhile, we spend so much money, our taxpayer dollars are spent to pay people like Sammy Leon Lawrence IV for playing like he was victimized over his skin color, and paying people like Zayd Atkinson for playing like they were victimized over their skin color. I'm okay with you being gay. I'm okay with you wishing you were another gender. And just like plastic surgery on your face, it is cosmetic. Between our taxpayer dollars going to help the victims and our taxpayer dollars going to victimize the victims, we need to stop spending that money to victimize the victims. Between your rapist, that's right, Rain is a rapist. Between Rain getting a sex change and his sister getting her fucking cancer cured, which one am I going to choose? The cancer. The cancer. The cancer. You don't feel comfortable being a male, huh? Neither do I. Males are victimized incessantly, unless they're good looking or rich. Take a look at how I was treated. Look at the paperwork that I got, the instructions that it says to follow, and then listen to all of the conversations with every single one of my friends when it came to following the law. Oh, they're gonna. They didn't give a fuck. What are their excuses? They're too broke. They're afraid of the police. Their friends and family had their lives threatened. But they never came forward with that, so the cops got to lie. And even though there's plenty of evidence that showed that the cops fucking lied, not one of these fucking pieces of shit ever made any goddamn effort to come forward. Don't tell me you did something with no fucking proof, you piece of shit. That allows the cops to fucking get away with this shit, you pieces of shit. Holy hell. So I get this thing on my news feed this morning where there's some trans people bitching because they want to be able to rape people in the bathroom. Oh, you guys, I get it. You go, oh, well, that's not why they want to use the girls' bathroom. Well, if they're using the bathroom to use the bathroom, why does it fucking matter if they use the men's bathroom? You have a dick. You were born with a dick. Fucking deal with it. I was born with Tourette syndrome. I get treated fucking horribly because I have Tourette syndrome. Because you guys don't want to try understanding or getting to know me. You just want to pass fucking judgment. You get to see how many men are cowards when it comes to helping another man turn this in. How many men have made the excuse of, well, nobody helped me when it happened to me? Well, you didn't ask me, did you, motherfucker? When I came to you for help, what did you do? We don't owe it to minorities to give them every piece of our life. It is insane to think that the entire United States population should bow down to 1% of the population. Whether those portions of the population are rich, homosexual, trans, bi, white, black, blue, it don't fucking matter. Our rights should be for all of us, not for just the rich. Why are we taking taxpayer dollars to develop systems in the medical industry that nobody who is paying those taxes can fucking afford? Why are you taking our money to send people into outer space while American children are being fucking raped to death? Why are all the battered women shelters closed down? Because the sheriff's departments can't afford to keep them open when they have to keep paying out because their officers confuse somebody with a homeless person. These officers all know they're allowed to harm you if you're homeless. But sometimes they fuck up. Obviously. I ain't finding my goddamn charger. I gotta go back in because I got my stuff abandoned in there. I was already warned last week about abandoning my stuff in there. It's not a fucking smart idea, but what other fucking choices do I have? My disabilities make it very difficult to do a lot of things, but that doesn't matter because I'm a hobo, not a homo. I'm fine with you being a homosexual. I'm not fine with you pretending that no other victims exist unless they're homosexual. That only homosexuals are victimized. Only women are victimized. Only black people are victimized. Are you out of your fucking mind? Look around you, asshole. You're a fucking racist piece of shit. You're a sexist piece of shit. You're a selfish person. Just because you're gay doesn't mean I owe you. People like me who are not gay, who have been victimized our entire lives for being gay, are sick of your shit. Sick of being treated by you like I'm not worth a goddamn thing. Like I'm not a human being because I'm not a cocksucker. I think penises are gross. I'm allowed to find penises gross. I am not required to be attracted to homosexuals. I am not required to pretend that I've never been beaten up for being gay. Matter of fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find an actual homosexual who's been assaulted as many times as I have for being gay. Do you know why? Because of where I grew up. I grew up in the system, a minority system, where a lot of those kids held grudges because everybody involved in their case was white, and none of them cared. When somebody is being abused, they need help turning it in right away. Especially if they're male, especially if they're homeless, especially if they're disabled. When you procrastinate like the people who claim to be my friends did, you guarantee that victim will never get an honest day in court. When you are willing to look away to all of this abuse against your friend, you are not their friend. You are a horrible excuse for a human being. These people who claimed that they cared about me, claimed that they wanted to help me,
Did they ever try to help me? No, they did not. They did not follow instructions. It was only what they want. Either I do what they want and waste my resources where they want, or they will abuse me. This is not okay. No homeless male can go to the cops without fear of abuse. No homeless male can turn in his abusers without fear of abuse. And then you force us into public, to do this in public, to be victimized for having to do this in public. A lady who was going to help me, she talked me into it. Well, like with everybody, it's do what she wants or she won't help. She says it's about me. She starts talking about herself and her problems, and then she goes off for a bit, and then she stops, and then she said, well, this isn't about me, this is about you, and I have a support network. So then she'll stop talking about herself for a bit, and then she'll get back to it again. She said if I call her, she'll answer. If I text her, she'll message me back. A lot of people said that and didn't keep their word. And then, of course, after not keeping their word, them knowing that doing that pushes people to commit suicide. These people do it over and over and over again. Yes, they are trying to push me to suicide. They are intentionally, knowing and willingly doing so. That's the thing about drug use as friends. When you're disabled, you don't have a very decent friends list. Now, there's a lot of retards I know. When I say retards, I'm talking about people who are very low IQ. Those are the ones that you like to classify as retards, and those who you assume have a low IQ. Somebody who's autistic, you assume has a low IQ and is therefore retarded. Somebody with Down syndrome, you assume has a low IQ and must be therefore retarded. People with cerebral palsy, same thing. The assumption of retardation. How many retarded people do I know who have lots of non-retarded friends? A bunch. I know a bunch of people with low IQs who are people's charity cases. They're not actual friends. It's the, oh, well, I have a retarded friend and I help him out. Really? How do you help him out? Now, the great thing about having something like cerebral palsy is that there's visual markers. People can tell you have cerebral palsy. The great thing about Down syndrome is that there are visual markers. People can tell that you have Down syndrome. If you do the things that you did to me to somebody with Down syndrome, people are going to take notice and they're going to speak about how wrong it was to do that. But it's okay to do it to me, isn't it? Now, this lady who's going to help me, I've got all of my stuff over at her place. Every time I get started on something, she's got a bunch of stuff that she wants me to do. We haven't made the calls to the places that really need to be called. There's a certain way that she wants to go about it, and there's the legal route. So I'm trying to get her to look at the legal route. I understand that she's got issues of her own, so I'm trying to respect that the best I can. The thing is that I'm constantly working around other people's schedules. I'm constantly working around other people's resources because all of mine were taken away over crimes I didn't commit. All Natalie had to do was lie. Nobody cared if it was true or not. It didn't matter how much I reached out to my friends. They were too busy telling me how to think and how to feel. Were they doing that with Natalie? Yes. Natalie's friends and family were doing the same thing. That's how this all got started. Natalie and I were friends, and her predators didn't like that. Since her predators were her family, she tried to make them happy at my expense. There's a guy I knew in Boulder, Colorado. He used to go by Admiral. That's what Janine Barrett called him. A lot of people tried to give me little pet names out there on the street. I never saw any reason to hide who I am. It's okay to be gay. It's not okay to force that on other human beings. It's okay to be Christian. It's not okay to force that on other human beings. I do want to warn you, if you live in Boulder, Colorado, the police, if you are raped, will help your rapist to get away with it. Look at the situation with Teresa and Celia. What happened with Teresa and Celia? She was raped. She fought off her rapist. They didn't charge her rapist. They charged her with assault. Now let's take a look at the situation with Miss Kelly. She was also raped. She also went to the police about it in Boulder, Colorado. She was going to school to become a pediatrician. Now she's not going to be a pediatrician. They didn't care about her life. What they cared about was a college athlete and his future. So they charged her with making a false report because she didn't fight back. Men are more victimized than women by a lot, both by the general public and by the police. Most of the women I know play on that and prey on that. Most of them. I'm scrolling through here and I'm seeing a bunch of... Oh, come on now. My phone is not working. It's a bunch of... This one says Boulder, Colorado sucks. Boulder, Colorado, things to do. This lady lives there and she hates it. This guy right here, top 5 reasons not to attend CU Boulder. This one says don't move to Boulder, Colorado. 7 reasons not to move to Boulder, Colorado in 2023. Stuff to do in Boulder. Top 5 things to do in Boulder, Colorado. This one says all about Boulder. Don't move here if... There's a lot of that, isn't there? Boulder is very trans friendly, very gay friendly, very bi friendly, very LGBT community friendly. Just like they are very inclusive of black people. In order for a black person to be victimized by the police in Boulder, Colorado, they have to believe, truly believe, that he's a homeless person. Short of that, they're going to assume that he's alumni, the child of someone who's alumni, or possibly a collegiate athlete. Boulder, Colorado, including the Boulder Police Department and the Boulder County Sheriff's Department, are under an immense amount of pressure to hide those things, to not investigate those things because of the fiascos in the 90s. See, these guys want to pretend that the call lights that they put all over CU campus are working. Most people, when in one of those situations, are afraid to go to one of those call lights in case somebody sees them. When somebody is in an extreme emergency and needs to use one of those call lights, well, you guys know how it is. Somebody gets killed on campus and there's no witnesses, nobody sees it. But if you go to the call light and you make that call and someone shows up, well, then all of a sudden somebody saw it. So the question is, would that person have otherwise seen this situation if you hadn't used the call light? Did that call light save your life? Well, in some cases, maybe. But then there's the ridicule, the harassment, the bullying, the people constantly prying. They want to know, they want to know, they want to know. They want to know what happened, but they don't really want to know what happened. They got personal details they want to know. They got parts that they want to know. It's just a matter of curiosity. It has nothing to do with right or wrong. And with this lady that I'm trying to trust, I've got my stuff over at her house. I don't know the lady hardly at all. I met her less than a month ago. And I got my stuff moved into her place. Well, not into her place, into her little garage thing at her place. It's tiny. You couldn't fit a car in there. What do they call that? Storage building, but it's a shed. That's what it's called, a shed. So that's where I got my stuff. But also because of the rules of housing. See, this is one of the things that prevents poor people from being able to help their friends and family. You only get a certain amount of days you're allowed to have a guest. If your friend is victimized into homelessness, well, you could get kicked out of your housing for helping them out. Mandy Singer had so much anxiety about that, she was too afraid to even check her mailbox. The worst part about that is she never followed through on helping me how she was gonna. It's not her fault. The things that she was expected and required to jump through for the piddly squat that she's paid, for them to mess around with her housing, tell her that she can transfer to a new housing place, and then once she's got all the stuff set up to be transferred, then they tell her she doesn't qualify for the other place, but she still has to move out of the one she's in. Oh yeah, I understand completely that she had her own problems. And that's the problem. The police outright lied. They didn't try to investigate anything. They went out of their way not to talk to any of the actual witnesses. They went out of their way to make sure that they painted me the worst possible way that they could, and nobody cares. They say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Well, let me tell you where you can shove your I'm sorries.
Yeah, I actually, you were right. Can I get a couple extra of those hot sauces? I tried to convince you. Yeah, oh yeah. I use it for the hash brown too, so. Oh, yeah, yeah. Two or three works, yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much.
Like, a lot of people, they can't help themselves. You start telling them what's going on, and they want to stop and interrupt you and tell you how they understand. No, you need to stop. When it comes to listening to the victim, every time that you interrupt them to make it story time, every time you ask them a question, every time you get snappy with them, you're betraying their trust. You're letting them know outright that they were wrong to come to you for help. Those of you who offer to help, are you offering to help how I need? Or are you assuming what help I need and trying to shove that at me over and over and over again? How many of my friends have ever bothered to find out the abuse that I'm enduring or why? None. A lot of them know, they're aware, but they figure if they look away, don't bother to find out, then they didn't do anything wrong. Kind of like the police. If they refuse to look at evidence, well, it's not their fault they didn't see evidence. There must not be any. That's why I needed a friend or family member to go in with me. But my friends and family members showed not only that they're aware of the bias, but that they take part in it themselves. They wanted to tell me that doing what it is that I was instructed to do, the things that I was told to do, go to my friends and family and then turn it in. That's what I did. And in 6 years' time, all people want to do is argue. That's it. Why don't they know what the hell's going on? Because they were too busy arguing instead of looking at evidence. And I got to deal with a bunch of people that are harming me over slander. That to this day, I've never been allowed to defend myself against. Slander that people who claim that they're going to help me, who took advantage of me, want to throw in my face. That's right, they can't throw in my face anything horrible that I did to them because I didn't. They have to throw in my face horrible things that never actually happened. I don't have any friends. What do you do? You ignore them? Yes, that's exactly what you do. And that's why we're not friends. You didn't offer to be friends. Those are the words you used, but really you just wanted to be entertained. You watched some web sleuth group when you found out that I'm not some sort of a friggin' psycho like they tried to sell to you. It's out there chopping up people's kids and feeding them to their dogs. What we need to do here is pass out guns to the victims and let them take their opponents out. Let them take out their predators. You're letting our predators take us out, aren't you? Look what you allowed Ted Bollinger to do repeatedly. Look what you did yourselves to assist the Bollinger family. Child molesters and rapists, and you helped them to get away with it. All of you. Every single one of you. If you're watching my channel and you're not speaking out, you're not trying to look at the evidence or show the truth, you are complete and total trash. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.